What is going on, you guys? This is Chris with Patchboard Art, patches for the culture. And in today's video, we're going to be using the Brother PRS 100, also known as the Brother Persona. If you don't have the Brother Persona, but you have a different Brother machine, you can also follow along with your other Brother machine as well for this tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be doing a test run on how a satin stitch is affected by the stitch angle of a tatami fill. If you would like to follow along with this tutorial, be sure to click the link down in the description box below. It is called the angle test. It is a PES file, so it's designed to work on Brother machines. You may be able to use it on some baby lock machines, I'm not quite sure. But over here, we mainly have Brother machines, so we are using a PES file. The file itself consists of 5 colors. We got a green, red, orange, blue, and white. But you are more than welcome to use whatever color you would like to use for this tutorial / follow along. On our machine, we already got the design loaded up, ready to go. We just got to feed the first color through, which is going to be the green. We also got to load up our hoop, of course. For this tutorial, we'll be using the standard 4x4 hoop that comes with the Brother Persona. And you can also use your mighty hoop if you have one. You can use the 5x5 mighty hoop if you wanted to. But as I stated before, we will be using the standard 4x4 hoop that came with the Brother Persona. This is what the hoop looks like right here, just in case you are new. On the hoop itself, it will say 100 by 100 millimeter, 3.9 by 3.9 inches. So let's go ahead and get it loaded up on the machine. Back over here on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and hit this embroidery button so it finishes. So it's all loaded up, ready to go. It shows our color order right here on the right hand side of the screen, as you can see. The design itself is 3.70 by 3.73 inches. Now that the green thread is loaded up, ready to go, we're going to go ahead and hit the lock button and we are going to start it. With the first green square, we have it set to 0 degrees stitches. So it's going to do its tatami fill stitch first. Actually, it's going to do an edge run. Then it's going to do its tatami fill. Then it's going to start stitching it at 0 degrees. After it's done stitching the tatami fill, it will do a satin stitch around the edges. And then we're going to move on to the red square. The red square is going to be a 15 degree tatami stitch, and then it's going to do a satin run, and then it's going to do the orange, which is a 30 degree tatami fill, and then it's going to do the blue, which is a 45 degree tatami fill. And each square is going to have a satin stitch border, so that way we can see the effects that it has on the satin stitch border as well as the added text at the end. So we're going to go ahead and let these stitch out, and then we will come back to see the finished results. Not only are we looking at the effects that the different angles have on the satin stitch and the text, we also want to see what happens when you do certain stitch angles on the fabric that you're embroidering onto. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to click the link down in the description box below, so that way you can download this free file, so that way you can do this test at home on your own machines. It is a PES file, so be sure that you have a machine that can actually use a PES file. And notice for this 45-degree angle, the underlay stitches look like they're stitching at a 0-degree angle. Alright you guys, let's go ahead and take this off the hoop and take a closer look at it. And all of them, they don't look too bad, all of them, when you look at them all together. They all look pretty good. The satin stitch borders stand out. I feel like the satin stitch borders stand out primarily on maybe the 15-degree one, it looks like. The 30-degree one looks like it stands out pretty good. Like those stitches aren't too similar to each other. The 45-degree looks good as well. I mean, even the 0-degree stitch looks good, but when you twist it at certain angles, it almost looks like the satin stitch border disappears. When you do it with the 30-degree, the 45-degree, you see like the satin stitch border, like it stay there, it's consistent. The issue we had was using like the 0 or 15-degree. We just used the standard 15-degree angle, I believe. But what was happening was with the satin stitch, notice how like the top and bottom portions of the satin stitch stand out a lot more on the 0 and 15 degrees as opposed to like the left and right side satin stitches. And the reason the left and right side seem to like not be as thick is because like the angle of the satin stitch itself is too similar to the angle of the tatami stitch. So you get kind of like an effect where the top and bottom satin stitches look thicker than the left and right, even though it's all the same proportions, you guys. The proportions are the same across the entire patch, but just because the fill stitch is a certain angle, it makes it look like the left and right side of the satin stitch border looks a little thinner. With the 30-degree, you can see that we don't really have that issue. Like you can still see the 30-degree pretty well even if we turn it to the side like this. Back to the 0-degree, you can see how like the left and right side kind of fades in with the 0-degree tatami fill stitch. Going back to the 15-degree. And it's all and it's all about too how the lighting is hitting it and the angle that you're holding the patch itself. But then we come back down here to the 30. We change the angles up. You see that it kind of stays consistent. 45-degree. Hopefully you guys have downloaded the file. If you haven't done so already, click the link down in the description box below. So that way you can download this test file. So that way you too can stitch out what it looks like having a 0 through 45-degree square with the satin stitch border and text on it. Just so you can get like a better visual of how it looks. It looks good on the software, but you also want to stitch it out just to see how those satin stitch borders are interacting with your tatami fill stitches. And you also want to see how text interacts on top of your tatami fill stitches at certain angles. Like I said earlier, we only did 15-degree increments on this particular video. You can always go in there and like make your own test files with different degrees just to see what it looks like. But if you enjoyed this video, you found this video helpful, be sure to click that thumbs up button and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell as well so that way you are notified on all of our future postings. We got a QR code patch right here. The QR code will take customers to our Etsy shop. We're going to be adding some Velcro onto this patch so we can slap it on to our roller skates. Be sure to check that video out. But this has been Chris with Patchboard Art, patches for the culture, and we'll see you on the next video. Keep on stitching, you guys. Keep on stitching.